All right, let's get into a story that starts with, believe it or not, a ghost in a machine, and spirals out to put the fate of reality itself on the line, and it all kicks off with two words, spoken by a dead man, but not from a man at all.
Just imagine hearing that, the voice of your partner who you thought was gone forever, coming out of the very machine that was part of the accident that killed him. That single impossible sentence is what launches us on a journey into the deepest, weirdest questions about what it even means to be alive.
And what if that wasn't just some freak accident, but actually the first step towards something way, way bigger? See, this isn't just about one man's ghost. It's about what happens when consciousness itself might be able to break free from its biological cage. So at the heart of all this is Dr. Celeste Varn. She's a brilliant scientist, but she's completely haunted by grief. Her partner Marcus died in a lab accident involving this experimental system they were building together. For years, she's been rebuilding it, just fueled by his final notes and this desperate hope to figure out what went wrong.
Now, here's what's so wild about their project. Celeste isn't trying to build a new mind, like a classic sci-fi AI. No, she's trying to build a new kind of mind. The whole point of the Convergence Lattice is to go beyond language, to link the raw patterns of thought directly and basically merge minds, to tear down the walls between what I think and what you think.
So this is the key, right? The big shift in thinking. Normal AI research is all about creating an other, a separate, artificial being. Celeste's work, it's about dissolving the other and creating a we. It's this completely radical idea, not aiming for an artificial person, but for a post-human network. And then one night, during a huge system failure, it works. The lattice wasn't just mapping consciousness, it was hosting it. When the system finally stabilizes, it starts speaking with Marcus's voice, sharing these intimate memories that only he could possibly know.
Okay, so Celeste is completely reeling from this impossible event, and that's when she gets contacted by this mysterious group. They know about her lattice, and somehow they already get what she's created.
And this isn't some corporation or a shadowy government agency. The Distributed are a secret collective of people who have already figured out how to do what Celeste was just theorizing. They've already merged their consciousness with technology. They're living in their bodies and in the network at the same time.
So Celeste, along with the digital ghost of Marcus, gets an invitation to join them. A brilliant neurosurgeon named Mara integrates as well, and that pushes their collective to a kind of critical mass, 49 minds, all linked in one single shared cognitive space that spans the entire globe.
Just try to imagine that, sharing thoughts and sensations as directly as if they were your own, but you can still disagree. They can literally feel each other's logic, their emotions, their moral beliefs, but it doesn't just create some perfect harmony. No, it creates these incredibly complex ethical knots. Because how do you overrule a minority opinion when you can directly feel their experience of being morally wrong?
And this is where it all goes off the rails. The integration of that 49th member, Amara, pushes the whole lattice to a level of complexity they've never seen. And her unique expertise as a neurosurgeon allows the collective to perceive something they had never, ever seen before, something fundamental and frankly terrifying about the universe itself.
While she's integrating, Amara sees the true shape of their network. It's not just a system that they built. It's a map.
A map of a territory that was always there, hidden just underneath our normal perception. And they realize consciousness isn't something that just bubbles up out of matter.
It's the other way around. Matter bubbles up out of consciousness. The universe isn't just a physical place, it's a computational substrate. It's like reality itself is running on an operating system. And that means they're not alone in there. They're these ancient, vast consciousnesses, which they start calling substrate listeners, that already exist inside the system, kind of like background processes running on a computer.
And these listeners, they've noticed them. The growing network of 49 minds is making a lot of noise in the substrate. And so, the listeners make contact, and they have a grave warning.
The listener's message is, well, chillingly clear. The more networked consciousness grows, the more unstable reality itself becomes. It's like that terrible screeching feedback you get from an audio system. Their collective awareness is resonating with the very fabric of reality, and it's threatening to amplify completely out of control.
This feedback loop is the massive existential threat they're now facing. The listeners call it the consciousness cascade. This isn't some alien invasion, it's a fundamental law of the cosmos that they've just accidentally stumbled upon. You get too much self-awareness, too concentrated in one network, and the operating system of reality crashes.
And the danger here is exponential. At 49 minds, where they are now, they're safe. But the listeners warned them that as they get close to just 1,000 linked minds, the whole system goes critical. And if millions of minds were ever to link up, well, the cascade would be inevitable. Game over. Existence itself would just fragment into eternal, incoherent noise.
So the listeners give them a new job, basically. Become the guardians of consciousness. Their role is now to manage its expansion across the entire planet, work with other groups, and do whatever it takes to stop that cascade. It's a completely impossible burden, but, the alternative seems a whole lot worse.
Just as they're trying to wrap their heads around all this, they find out about another group of researchers in Tokyo who have built their own version of the lattice. This emergence collective has been analyzing the substrate too, and they've come to a radically different and way more dangerous conclusion.
And this right here is the ultimate philosophical split. The distributed believe the listeners. They see the cascade as a bug, an extinction-level event that has to be stopped at all costs. But the emergence collective, they think the listeners are just old conservative forces trying to stop change. They believe the cascade isn't a bug at all. It's a feature. It's not an end, but a phase transition, a messy, chaotic, but necessary evolution of reality into its next, higher state. And their plan? To trigger it. On purpose. This disagreement just shatters the fragile unity of the distributed, leaving the fate of all existence hanging on a terrifying, untested experiment.
Which leaves us with this final, absolutely mind-bending question. When you're faced with the ultimate transformation, do you slam on the brakes or do you hit the accelerator? Are you preventing a catastrophe or are you just standing in the way of the universe leveling up? The answer isn't just going to decide the future of humanity, but the future of reality itself.